Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another election prediction. This time we have Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, up against the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. This is a 2024 election prediction. Uh, Again, DeSantis, it's just very unlikely he becomes a Republican nominee at this point. It just sees losing ground most of the time to Donald Trump. It wouldn't even shock me if Trump keeps breaking 60% in these polls at this point. But again, DeSantis is quite the downfall lately. He used to be a good candidate, but he just pretty much lost it at this point. But let's get right into this. So the first few states, Colorado, Whitmer would be able to easily lock in. The state is a very progressive leaning state. It's just getting more and more democratic every single election. New Mexico and Virginia wouldn't even be competitive. DeSantis, again, he's just more socially conservative than Donald Trump is. He wouldn't do as well as Donald Trump with independent voters or moderate voters at this point. So, again, these states would definitely go against DeSantis. He isn't a good candidate at all anymore. Ever since he just went too far right on a lot of social issues, he's pretty much lost voters in the general election ever since doing that. Probably even lost support in the primary, honestly, for that reason. But let's keep getting into these few states. So Maine at large, DeSantis is way too socially conservative for Maine. He wouldn't do well here at all. In Alaska, I'd also see him underperforming, see him only winning by a likely Republican margin. Iowa and Ohio, I'd put Iowa as likely Republican. I think he would only win it by about 7 points against Whitmer. She would definitely do pretty well with her Midwestern appeal. She would probably get a lot more populist voters on her side. And even the state of Ohio, I think DeSantis is that weak of a candidate that a candidate like Whitmer could get Ohio down to lean Republican. I think DeSantis only wins the state of Ohio by 4 points against her. That's how weak of a candidate I think he is at this point. He would definitely lose a lot of populist voters and union voters, which are crucial to Republican victories in Ohio, but he would definitely massively underperform here. The state of Florida is only saving grace. He'll definitely win it by a likely Republican margin or so, but not by a safe Republican margin. Whitmer would still keep it within under 10 points. Texas, even the weak Republican candidates would still probably be able to win Texas, but it shows that Texas going likely to lean. Definitely shows those Democratic trends long term in the future. I'd probably see Texas probably flipping eventually for the Democrats by 2032 or something, as long as it's favorable for them, like the environment. Then I could see it flipping. But for now, it's still a lean Republican state. I think DeSantis wins it by 3 points against Whitmer. In New Hampshire, I think Whitmer probably wins it by a likely blue margin. I was debating on making it safe because how socially conservative DeSantis is, but I think Whitmer probably wins it by 9.5% or so against DeSantis. He barely keeps it in contention. Maine second. Yeah, I think DeSantis would still win it, but much by a much more reduced margin. He wouldn't do as well as Trump in this district at this point. Okay, let's see. Nebraska second, I think would also go likely blue. I don't think DeSantis would do that well in that suburban of a district. Arizona, Nevada, I could just see Whitmer doing much better with independent voters. I think she's overall seen as a more well-liked governor, especially in the eyes of independent voters, which are crucial to Republican victories in Nevada and Arizona. And just with DeSantis' messaging on social issues, especially abortion, he would do pretty bad in Nevada and pretty bad in Arizona. In the Rust Belt states, I think Whitmer would pretty much just like sweep a DeSantis here. She would easily win Minnesota, easily win her home state of Michigan. She's frequently polling in the likely blue margins here. She's definitely a very strong candidate for this state and well-liked governor here. Pennsylvania also would be likely blue. I just think DeSantis would do terrible with populist voters. They would definitely go for Whitmer instead of him, and she'd do a lot better with the union voters as well, just based on her pro-union policies in Michigan. DeSantis also would do quite bad in Wisconsin. I don't think he'd really have a chance there either. In Georgia and North Carolina, I just think African American turnout will go pretty high for Whitmer here, just based on how DeSantis has done a lot to anger African Americans, especially in Florida, which I always see them coming out and protest against him. But again, I think Whitmer would probably pretty much win Georgia again DeSantis is very socially conservative, and Georgia's definitely a more moderate state at this point, especially the expansion of the Atlanta suburbs, just trending more and more Democratic. It's definitely made it a more battleground state. It used to be lean Republican, not anymore. It's a toss-up state, but I think Whitmer would pretty much easily win in Georgia against DeSantis, just with much more increased African American turnout. And in North Carolina as well, I see North Carolina even flipping against DeSantis. I think he'd definitely drop the ball in this state, and I think a lot of African Americans would definitely turn out and against Ron DeSantis just to ensure he's defeated. And Whitmer is a much younger candidate. She'd definitely do better with independent voters overall in this election scenario. So Whitmer probably wins a popular vote by 5% against Ron DeSantis. Maybe I'd put it as 5.5%. I think he would definitely underperform Trump by about a percentage or two in the general election. He's definitely a weak candidate. I really can't even see DeSantis being president unless it's like a terrible Democratic candidate. He's just so weak at this point. He made so much strategic blunders that he's just very weak at this point. Weaker than Donald Trump, that's for sure. But overall, if you enjoyed this video, I'd highly recommend subscribing to the channel and leave comments down below. Do you agree or disagree with this scenario? Any video recommendation ideas? I'll take them all into consideration. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.